It was supposed to be a normal evening. Quiet, predictable, uneventful. For months, she had worked hard to rebuild a sense of stability after leaving a toxic relationship. The separation hadn't been easy, but she believed distance would eventually cool the anger that once filled their home. What she didn't know was that the man she left behind was still driven by one thing: control. That night, her phone buzzed with an incoming FaceTime call. His name flashed across the screen. She hesitated. They rarely spoke unless it involved their child, and even then, conversations were tense. Against her better judgment, she answered. At first, the call felt ordinary, almost calm. He asked about their daughter, complained about feeling ignored, accused her of turning the child against him. She tried to keep her voice steady, hoping to end the conversation quickly. Then, everything changed. In the background, she heard movement, shuffling, a raised voice, a sudden cry. Her daughter's face appeared on the screen, confused and frightened. Before she could ask what was happening, the sound cut through her heart. Her child screaming her name. Panic set in instantly. She begged him to stop, demanded to know what he was doing, pleaded with him to hand the phone to their daughter. Instead, he smiled. Investigators would later describe that moment as the turning point, when a volatile argument crossed into deliberate cruelty. According to court records, the man had been enraged for weeks. He blamed his ex-partner for his financial struggles, his loneliness, and his fading sense of power. He believed the only way to hurt her was through the one thing she loved more than herself. The FaceTime call wasn't accidental. It was intentional. As the screaming grew louder, she realized this was no threat. This was punishment. She shouted that she was calling the police. He laughed and said it wouldn't matter. He wanted her to watch. He wanted her to feel helpless. Neighbors later reported hearing shouting from the apartment, followed by an eerie silence. On the call, the screams stopped suddenly. The screen shook, then froze. Her daughter was gone. She screamed into the phone, begging him to respond, to say it was a joke, to let her hear her child breathe. The call disconnected. Within minutes, she dialed 911, barely able to form words. Officers were dispatched to his address immediately. When they arrived, they found the apartment door unlocked. Inside, the scene told a story no parent should ever have to imagine. Her daughter lay motionless. Paramedics tried desperately to revive her, but it was too late. She had been strangled. The man was still there. He didn't resist arrest. According to police reports, he appeared calm, almost detached, as if the gravity of what he had done hadn't fully registered. When asked why, he gave a chilling response. He wanted her mother to feel the pain he felt. News of the crime spread quickly. The community was stunned, not just by the brutality, but by the method. Using a live video call to commit such an act shocked even seasoned detectives. It wasn't just murder, it was psychological torture. As investigators pieced together the events leading up to the killing, a troubling pattern emerged. Friends and family described a history of controlling behavior. During the relationship, he monitored her movements, dictated who she could talk to, and exploded with rage whenever he felt ignored. After the breakup, the behavior escalated. He sent threatening messages, accused her of betrayal, and repeatedly used their child as leverage. Despite warning signs, there had been no restraining order in place. Like many victims of emotional abuse, she believed distance would be enough. She never imagined he would harm his own child. The court proceedings were swift, but emotionally draining. Prosecutors argued that the crime was premeditated, pointing to the deliberate FaceTime call as evidence. They described it as an act meant to cause maximum suffering, not just physical harm, but lifelong trauma to the mother forced to witness it. The defense attempted to argue emotional distress and mental instability, but the prosecution countered with chilling clarity. Anger does not excuse murder, and heartbreak does not justify cruelty. When the verdict was announced, the courtroom was silent. Guilty on all counts. The sentence ensured he would spend the rest of his life behind bars, but for many, it felt hollow. No punishment could bring back a child whose life was taken out of spite. Outside the courthouse, the mother spoke briefly. Her voice trembled as she described her daughter as joyful, kind, and full of laughter. She said the screams from that call would haunt her forever, but she hoped sharing her story might save another child. "This isn't just my story," she said. "This is about what happens when we ignore warning signs, when control turns into obsession, and when children become weapons." Advocacy groups echoed her message. Domestic violence experts stressed that abuse doesn't always end with separation. It often escalates. Control, when challenged, can turn deadly. They urged parents, courts, and communities to take threats seriously, especially when children are involved. In the weeks that followed, memorials appeared near playgrounds and schoolyards. Stuffed animals, candles, and handwritten notes lined the fences. Strangers mourned a child they never met, united by disbelief and grief. The FaceTime call became a symbol, a horrifying reminder of how technology can be twisted into something dark. A tool meant for connection became an instrument of terror. Today, the mother lives with a pain that words cannot fully describe. She continues to advocate for stronger protections, hoping no one else will ever have to answer a call like the one she did. Because sometimes, the most terrifying moments don't happen in the dark or in isolation. Sometimes, they happen right in front of you, on a screen you can't turn away from.